so this is science paper 2 2023 GCE representation. So if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe for more videos like this. So I'm going to answer B4 and B5. So B4 is saying figure 4.1 shows an electronic structure for element Q. So now as you can see, element Q is having 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So the number of electrons in the outermost shell, they help us to determine the what? The period where the element belongs. And the number of shells, the number of what? Shells, they help us to determine the period where the element belongs. So in this case here, this element Q is having 7 electrons, so it is found in group 7, and it is having 3 shells, which means it is found in period what? 3 of the periodic table. And remember, when counting or when finding the periods they go at horizontally. So which means elements in the same period, they have same number of shells. So now, since this one is having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, this tells us that this one is what? The non-metal, because metals, they usually have 1, 2, or 3 electrons in their what? Outermost shell. So in this case, for this one to be stable, it needs to gain 1 electron. Okay. So usually non-metals, they gain electrons, and metals, they lose electrons. So this one is having 17 electrons, which means this one is what? Chlorine. Okay. Chlorine is found in group what? 7, and it has 17 electrons. So Roman numeral number is saying name element Q. So element Q is called what? Chlorine. Then as for Roman numeral number 2, state the period of the periodic table where element Q belongs. Explain your answer. So I'm going to say this one is found where? In period 3, just count the number of shells. Just count the number of shells. Okay, so the number of shells are equal to the what? The period where the element belongs. So in this case here, I'm going to say because it has 3 number of what? Shells. That's all. So as for question Roman numeral number 3 saying explain how an atom of element Q acquires chemical stability. So in this part here, they are just asking you to give them how this element Q is going to be stable, or is going to acquire the what? The noble structure. Okay, so I'm going to say it is going to acquire the noble structure by gaining what? 1 electron from group what? Group 1 elements. So by gaining 1 electron from group 1 elements, that's what? The answer. Then as for question B, is saying explain what you understand by the term nucleon number. So the other name for the nucleon number is the what? The mass number. So to make you understand on this part here, let me just give you a formula that is going to help us to define the nucleon number. So it is going like this. A is equal to what? Z, which is capital Z, plus capital what? N. Where capital A is the mass number or the nucleon number. Since I've said the other name for the nucleon number is what? The mass number. Then as for capital Z is representing what? The proton number. Then as for capital N is representing the what? The neutron number. So in this case here, for us to have the nucleon number, we need to add the protons plus what? The neutrons. And remember, protons and neutrons are found where? In the nucleus of an atom. So I'm going to define the nucleon number like this. The nucleon number is just the what? The total number of protons and neutrons found in the nucleus of an atom. The total number of protons and neutrons found in the nucleus of an atom. Okay, that is for what? B. Then as for question B5, question A, distinguish between an acid and a base. So in this part here, I'm just going to use the what? The definitions. Okay. So an acid is just the what? The compound that produces what? Hydrogen ion as the only positively charged cation. An acid is a compound that produces hydrogen ion as the only positive charged cation, whereas the base is generally an oxide or hydroxide, including what? ammonium hydroxide. So that one is the what? The difference between an acid and a base. Then as for question B, question B is saying explain what you understand by the term salt. So you have learned about neutralization reaction. So in this case, I'm going to say a salt is just what? The chemical compound formed when an hydrogen of an acid has been displaced partially or fully by a metal or a metal carbonate. So a salt is just the chemical compound formed when an hydrogen of an acid has been displaced partially or fully by a metal or a metal oxide. So that one is the what? The salt. So thanks for watching.